welcome to my channel if you're new here. Today I'm going to talk about VIPKID and feedback. So once you are a teacher with VIPKID, you are required to do feedback after you teach a class. So after you teach a class, there are two different types of feedback that you will do depending on what class you taught. There is unit assessment, where they're going to give you multiple choice questions based on how this student performed in the class. And then there's also going to be a little box for you to comment anything like extra you want to talk about, if they need to practice on something, even though they did well, or maybe they didn't do so well and you want them to practice on it. There's a spot for you to write that, or you can simply just say, you did a great job, I'll see you next time, whatever. And then there's another feedback where it's going to give you several different boxes, and the first one at the top is going to have you give feedback for the class. In this feedback box, you want to tell the parents, what you went over, how the child performed, and is there anything that they should still work on. You also want to mention asking for 5-apple feedback. Now, I think, and I've been told that it is perfectly acceptable to ask for feedback from the parents. Some of the parents don't understand that feedback in VIPKID is very valuable, and we do get rewarded for it. Sometimes we get some tokens and points, or, we can go into a raffle or something. So it is super important. Sorry, my cat has decided to join me on the desk, and she's driving me nuts. I didn't want to lose focus, but I just can't. So anyways, the parents don't always know that feedback is very helpful to us, especially if you get 5-apple ratings. That's what you really want to go for. The 5-apple rating is what helps other parents come to you and book you as a teacher. So you always want to have a 5-apple rating. Now, you can get different ratings for different things, but that is like a whole other video of explaining that. But it's okay to ask the parents for feedback in your lesson so you can get that good rating to get more bookings in the future. So in that feedback, I like to talk about what we went over. So the first thing I'll say is, it was so nice to see Lala today for her lesson on, and then I'll write whatever the lesson is, like my animal families. And then I'll talk about the vocabulary that we went over, and I just take that right out of the curriculum that they give me. And then I talk about the skills that we worked on, usually between 2 to 3, depending on how in-depth the skill was. I usually touch between 2 and 3. And then I like to comment on something that the student can practice on outside of the classroom to be better in the next class that they attend, whether it's with me or another teacher. And then I like to follow up at the end asking for a 5-apple rating. And then I say, I hope to see you next time. And then I sign Teacher Michelle. Now, I have a template that I use. I have 4 different templates actually, and I just keep them on the notes section of my laptop. And in that section, it will say a girl version and a boy version. And there's 2 different versions for each gender. So for the girl version, I'll have a one that says like, it was nice to meet them, and talking, it's mostly the pronouns on why I have the different feedback. I totally personalize each feedback to the student. That's really important to me, but the pronouns being in there is just super helpful, so I don't have to say like he and she and mix it up every time. And when you're teaching a lot of different classes and you're trying to get the feedback in, you kind of just want to have that template to go in there and do that. There's an app called Feedback Panda. I'll link it here on the video so you can see it, that a lot of people like. I don't personally use it. I just find that this is really easy to just go to my notebook. I have it open right after class, and then I copy paste, and then I modify it to the student. So I have a girl, like a repeated student one, and then I have a nice to meet you student, and then same for the boy. I have the same thing. That way I know where I can go and get my feedback, and it's just way easier to fill in the blanks rather than, create a whole new feedback every time. So I will also link my tablets that I have or my templates, I think I should say, my templates for the feedback on my blog, which is makeshiftmama.com. There will be a little tab that says VIPKID or VIPKID teachers. And then you can click that, and then it will show my feedback template. So you can just literally copy and paste it if you want. I don't care. I actually borrowed it from somebody, so I don't mind sharing it either. I've kind of modified it to myself, which you should do as well. But anyways, you can take it. Yeah, so that would be my main things. Now, one other thing I wanted to touch on is once you get feedback from the parent, some parents will like give you actual words and then they'll translate it for you in English, which sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not that it's not good, but the translation from Chinese to English is really difficult sometimes. So it sounds sometimes like your feedback is weird or like you can't understand it, but it actually might be a good thing. But the way the translation comes across, you're like, what? Because, so for an example, I've gotten a 5 apple rating and then the parent like wrote something, but the way that they phrased it, it was so odd. And I'm like, this sound like it said something like too loud. But when I asked like some like fellow teachers, they were like, no, that's good. That means you were loud and they could hear you. Whereas I guess some teachers talk too low and it's harder for the student to hear them. I mean, luckily I'm a naturally loud person, so I guess my tone of voice was good to that parent. It was pleasing. They also give some like multiple choice boxes for the parents, I think, because it will come across like plain English, like what they liked about you. Like, teacher was passionate, teacher did good with self-correction, and those make you feel really good because you can understand exactly what they liked about it or you. So that's really helpful. Um, so it's sometimes the feedback can be tricky, but if you're getting the 5 apples, then you really have nothing to worry about. If for some reason you got a lower apple rating, you can go back and watch yourself. So the recording is always for you and the parents, and then VIP Kid can also access the recording of the class. So you can always go back and watch yourself, which I do not like to do. But if you wanted to dispute something that a parent said, you could go back and watch and see if they actually have some, I don't know what the word is, but if they actually have reason to say what they said, you can either try to fight it or you can be like, no, that's not how I came across at all. So you have that option to do that. Anyways, once they give you feedback, you have an option. I believe it's only like 24 hours. And with the time difference, it might be a little bit more. But you have the chance to reply back to their feedback. So for an example, if someone gave me a 5 apple rating and they said nice things, I love to go back on as soon as I see that I got that feedback and I tell the parents, thank you so much. I really appreciate your feedback. I just always want to recognize that I do appreciate their feedback and that it's important to me. And I feel like anytime someone gives you something, whether it's just verbal or tangible, you should thank them for that. So that's super important to me. So that's what I do. I think I've touched on all the things that I wanted to talk about with feedback, but if you have any questions or comments, please do so down below. Please like my video and consider subscribing to my channel. I will have more VIP Kid teacher videos coming out. I'm also going to be doing crafting videos and maybe some mom videos. I'm really trying to spread it all out with all of the things that I love. So again, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and I will see you next time. Bye.